In this video, I'm going to go over a few tips to help you win and get better at Relentless Studios' new third-person shooter, Crucible. I'm going to be primarily focused on the Heart of the Hive game mode. With that in mind, I will get to the tips. So the first one is going to be to level up. Now, leveling up in this game is very important. If you are 1 or 2 levels above your opponent's team, you're at a great advantage. So farming essences early game is very important. Even though it might not seem like it, it definitely is. Capping the harvesters is also extremely important. So if you can early 3 cap to have more than your opponent, as there's only 5 on the map, very important. When you have harvesters capped, it provides a constant flow of essence, even when you're not farming some of the stompers or spitters throughout the map. So it definitely helps your team always stay at least even with your enemy team. So the second tip I'm going to provide is that capping secondary objectives is sometimes more important than capping your first heart if you don't think you can get it. The pods that drop that you can cap as a buff apply to your whole team. So a damage buff, interaction shield, essence siphon, or harvester master control are very important. And if your team can capture those, it will greatly improve your chances for the rest of the game, as Essence Siphon will constantly siphon essences to your team. Master Harvester will cap all the harvest commands in one go, so you'll get a 5 cap, which will be an immediate essence buff. There's ones where you can get a shield while you're capping objectives, so that damage won't immediately pull you off with a cap, which is extremely important. So the third tip is that moving as a team is also very important, because if you get into an engagement that's 3-on-2 or 2-on-1, it is very hard for you to win, and dying is no good for your team, as it puts you in a respawn, and the respawn timer is about 25 seconds, and if the fight is near a hive, you cannot spawn near the hive. So on top of the 25 seconds, you will be further away from your team and unable to help. You also don't want to give away a free kill, as it provides a massive essence boost and could put the team 1 or 2 levels ahead of you if they manage to kill one, and then it's a 4v3 fight and they could kill another one pretty easily. So sometimes if the fight is not in your favor, it's better just to back off and wait till you can get a favorable engagement to re-engage your enemy team. So the fourth tip I'll go over is that your team comp is not necessarily as important as you might think. All 10 hunters are pretty evenly matched. There's no ones that are really bad, and you'll find that a few of them have some incredible synergies, such as Drakal and Kiri's bubble and Drakal's chain. So you can pull someone in and Kiri can bubble them, and then they're cut off from their team, and you have basically free chops at them with your shark axe. So just finding different small synergies that work throughout your team is important, but you don't have to worry that by picking a hunter that you like to play, you're putting your team at a disadvantage. So generally just play what you like, experiment, and have a good time. So the fifth tip is using your scan is very important in the game. So your scan is like your crouch. So you can't shoot while you're crouched in this game, but while you're scanning, you can see through objects as long as they're moving. So if your enemy team is moving around, you can see them through for a short distance through things. If you stand still, you can see even farther through objects. Although if your enemy stands still, then you stop being able to see them. So if you have one teammate capping an objective, it's very helpful if you as a teammate can scan and let them know if someone's coming up on you, because while you're capping an objective, you can't see very well and you are ineffective in a combat fight. So my sixth tip is staying alive is often more important than chasing a hunter down. If you have them at 1, maybe it's worth it, but if they're at 2 or 3 bubs, then chasing them might end up leading you into a trap scenario where you come around a corner and their team is there to help them, and you end up dying instead of them. So sometimes, even though your enemy is close to death, you just have to let them go and recover. On the flip side, if you are in a 4v4 tower and someone hides around a corner of a rock, generally they are medkitting, and if you can get some damage on them to interrupt the medkit, it is very helpful. So my 7th tip is more for the newer players. Once you load into the game, if you're the person that's picking your team's spawn, it is pretty important that you pick one fairly quickly, as it does affect when you load into the game. And if the enemy team picks one 10 or 15 seconds before you, they will have a leg up on farming essences and leveling their team, which will put you at a disadvantage that is sometimes insurmountable throughout the rest of the game. Thanks for watching, and if you found these tips at all helpful, please do subscribe to the channel and check me out at twitch.tv/beastandbrews. Links below.